Hi folks, welcome back to Stacey Can. Today I am making raspberry vinegar. Raspberries are in, it's raspberry season here, and my family absolutely loves raspberry vinegar, especially my daughter. It's her favorite, making raspberry vinaigrette. And I'm using the recipe from the Complete Book of Home Preserving, 400 delicious and creative recipes for today. I'll have the recipe below as well. So the ingredients you're going to need are 4 cups of raspberries and 5 cups of white wine vinegar. You'll notice I have a lot of vinegar. These vinegars, they're 12-ounce bottles, and yeah, I know I have a lot, but I'm actually going to double this because, like I said, we love vinegar and it does take a little bit of time to process it. So you need the vinegar and the raspberries, and you also need a big container of some sort to let the vinegar and the raspberries infuse. You're also going to need a potato masher and then and a bowl to kind of mush everything up together to get the raspberries kind of juiced a little, and then I will dump it into this container. It's just easier for me to infuse. Now you can just put some plastic wrap over the bowl that you have, or you can put it in a jar or whatever. I do prefer using glass containers when I'm infusing. It just, it's not seeping out any of the like metals or anything, giving it kind of a metallic taste if you're using a metal bowl. Or you can also use like a ceramic bowl or what have you, just whatever you have. It's not pressing. You can use mason jars. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm dumping the berries into this colander. It's actually a berry colander. If you notice, it's pretty flat and has the holes in it. I absolutely love this thing. It does a great job of being able to rinse your berries without smushing them, because the flesh of a raspberry is very, very gentle. So we're going to just give them a quick rinse. And then I'm just going to carefully scoop them into the bowl. And repeat until we get to, this recipe says 4 cups, but I'm going to 8. So I am going to do it in 4-cup batches just because it's going to be easier to smush it with 4 cups versus 8 cups all the way to the top. So the vinegar is easy. A lot of these vinegars have little stoppers in them like so. So you just pop those off. I find it easier to pour, and I'm going to go ahead and measure out a cup. So I'm measuring out a cup out of the 5 cups, and we're gonna pour it in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and gently mush the berries together with the vinegar. This is gonna help release some of the flavor. And we're just lightly crushing these, so you don't have to go too hard with it. And then I'm gonna add the rest of so I've got a cup in there, and now we're gonna add the rest of the 5 cups of vinegar to this, and then I'll pour it into the container. Here's the remaining 5 cups. We'll go ahead and give this a quick stir. And now I'm gonna just gently pour it into my big gallon jar. Now that I have everything in the jar, poured into the jar, I've gone ahead and covered it. You can also just, if you have just a glass container, and it does recommend that you put it in a glass container, not a metal one, you can just put saran wrap over the top or a cover over the top of some sort. And you want to store this in a cool, dark place at between 70 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 to 23 degrees Celsius, if that is how you measure temperature. And you want to store it every 2 to 3 days. Just to make sure you're swishing everything about, and then taste it at the end of each week. So you want to store it for 1 to 4 weeks. So at the end of each week, just give it a taste, and if it's just to see where it's at in your flavor profile as to how you like to have your raspberry vinegar. So it really is, and it's going to vary batch to batch too, because berries are different each year sometimes, and depending if you're getting them at the beginning of the season or the end of the season. So just taste away and see where you're at. And so until then, I will see you in the next 1 to 4 weeks with the magic of video editing. It's been 2 weeks. That's how long we decided to soak our vinegar. We tested it after a week and it was great, but it needed a little more time. And now it feels like it's the right time. I think if it went a little bit longer, I just don't think it's gonna be as raspberry-y as I would like it to be, if that makes sense. So I've set up my jelly strainer, my jelly bag strainer. And this is what it looks like, and it comes in a box like so. You can also use cheesecloth if you want and put it over a bowl if you'd like. It's kind of up to you. I have a jelly strainer, so I'm using this. Make sure to wet the bag first. Just get it wet with running water and clean running water, and rinse it out, wring it out, and then you wrap it around here and tie it off. So it's very self-explanatory. And then you can go ahead and start. As you've noticed, I have put some of the vinegar in here, and I've strained some of it, and this is how much I've gotten out of all of it. But just to kind of show you how to go about doing it, I do little bits at a time, because if you do all of it at the same time, it's just too clumpy. It's too much stuff in there, too much hard stuff in there, too much solids is the word I'm looking for. Too many solids for it to strain properly. So I do a little bit at a time. And then you can take a spoon as you go and just kind of move the solids around. And then when you're done with the straining, as it's strained, you just kind of scoop the solids out, put it in a bowl, and add some more. Don't squeeze the bag. I've done that before. It makes it cloudy. So the best thing to do is just let it soak, let it drain all on its own. As you can see, it's what it's doing there. This does kind of spatter. As the more it got higher it got up, the more it sort of spattered out of the bowl. So you want to make sure you put it in a safe spot. Here's another option. I have a couple of these gallon jugs. So you can take a jelly bag, and this is a new one. I haven't wetted it down yet, but you can just shove it into one of your jars or put it in a cheesecloth, and just make sure to tie off the cheesecloth around the rim of the jar, like so. And see, it's got strings here that you can tie off. So you would just tie it around around the rim here, or you can use a rubber band or something to secure the cheesecloth or the jelly bag and hold it tight over the jar. And then you pour your solids in, and then it strains in here, and then it's not going to spatter up and kind of get all around the kitchen table, etc. So, and as you can see, we've kind of slowed down on the straining part, so the solids have gotten in the way, but there's still much more juice in here. So I'm just kind of moving the solids away as we go, and more of the juice has the opportunity to drain out. So I'm going to keep doing this until we're all done, and then after that we'll go ahead and get it processed and put into jars and into the canner. I am done straining the raspberries and I've removed the jelly bag from the container here, and I've dumped some of the residue into this colander, and look at that beautiful clear color. So I'm setting this off to the side for now. And you'll notice that I have put a colander inside this bowl here, and I've just kind of collected some more of the juice, and I'm removing even more of the sludge, so to speak. And I'm going to put it back in here, because I will, just to make sure it's all good and clear, because there is a little bit of the raspberry remnants in here. I'm just going to run it through one more time. Got all the vinegar strained, and we actually have almost 3 quarts of vinegar strained. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour this into this pot, and it's not quite a full quart with the third, so it's 2 and almost 3 quarts. Got all the vinegar in the pot here, and I've added a thermometer because we've kicked the heat up to high, and once it gets to 180 degrees, then we can start jarring these up and putting them in the canner for preservation. So I've gotten this up to 180 degrees, and it's just below a simmer, so to speak. There is a bit of a foam here, but we're gonna go ahead and start filling the jars. I've got the jars heating up in the canner here. You don't want to put a hot item into a cold jar. And we're going to fill this up to 1/4 inch headspace. Look at that color. And I'm just double checking to make sure we got 1/4 inch headspace, and we do. I'm going to take my paper towel here and clean the rim very gently, like so. Use the lid lifter. Remove my lids. I didn't bubble because there really isn't much to bubble. There's not a whole lot of foodstuffs in here. I don't bubble with broth either. Just fingertip tighten. And remember, just up and over into the canner. Do not tilt. And repeat. I got the jars in the canner now. I've turned the temperature up to high. And when it comes to a rolling boil, then we'll set the timer for 10 minutes to process the jars. I have a rolling boil, so I've set the timer for 10 minutes. 5-minute timer has gone off, so we're gonna go ahead and remove the jars. And remember, we're just going up and over. Don't tip the jars, as the foodstuffs in the jar itself can get underneath, can get between the lid and the rim of the jar, and that can compromise the seal. So don't worry about the water that is on top of the jars. It will evaporate on its own and drain off. And check out that color. Isn't that beautiful? And it's sealed. And this is how we make some raspberry vinegar. It's actually quite simple to do. It just takes time. It takes a few weeks to do it just on the infusing part, but it's not hard. It's not active waiting. It's just letting it do its thing. So I do highly suggest making your own vinegars. They are tasty and they are simple to do. Now I had almost 3 quarts of vinegar, and that gave me 5 pints and not quite a full half pint. I could not get it to be, didn't have enough to get it up to 1/4 inch headspace. So I just went ahead and just put a little on it like so, and I'm storing it in the refrigerator, and we will probably have some for dinner tonight in a salad. So that's a family favorite here. As I mentioned, I think before, it's for my daughter. She absolutely loves raspberry vinegar. And so that's how we make some raspberry vinegar. The recipe is below in the show notes there, as well as please like and subscribe. That does help. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback, concerns, by all means, please reach out to me. I'm on Facebook at Stacey Can Can. You can at me on Instagram and TikTok at Stacey Can Can. My website is www.staceycancan.com. And my email is info@staceycancan.com. So thanks so much again for joining me today. And until next time, happy canning.